It wasn't a joke. I didn't get it at first, the laughter, the way they sped off like a bad teen movie. I thought it was just some dumb little game. Until the taillights of the Jeep disappeared behind a curve of that empty highway, and the wind rolled over the train tracks like it knew something I didn't. They left me. For real. Figure it out yourself. That's what Mandy shouted before the door slammed and the tires screeched away. The way her girlfriends cackled in the back seat still rings in my head like a sick chorus: Jessica, Amber, and that snake in heels Tracy. All of them laughing like I was the punchline. Or maybe just disposable. 500 miles from home. One backpack. No phone charger. No wallet, because Mandy had it. Said she'd keep it safe so I wouldn't lose it during the trip. What a joke. What a setup. It was supposed to be a weekend getaway, her idea, of course. Said we needed to reconnect. Get the spark back. Some bullshit about adventure and building memories. I should have known better. She'd been weird for months, distant but not in the quiet, sad kind of way. In the smug, overconfident, eyes glued to her phone kind of way. She planned it all. Every piece. Every mile. And you know what the worst part was? I still waited there. Like an idiot. For 6 damn hours. Thinking maybe she'd come back. Maybe she'd cool off, apologize, tell me it was just a dumb prank that went too far. I imagined her pulling back up, tears in her eyes, saying, "I'm sorry, babe, it was stupid." But Mandy doesn't cry. Mandy makes people cry. Eventually, I walked. I didn't know where I was going. Just followed the road like a zombie. No GPS, no cash, nothing. Got a cheap motel room by convincing the old man at the counter to take my watch as payment. Slept in clothes soaked in sweat and humiliation. And I didn't go home. I could have called someone, my brother, my boss, hell, even my mom. But I didn't. Something in me cracked on that roadside. Something old and worn that had been holding me together for years finally snapped in two. The moment they drove away, Mandy didn't just leave me behind, she freed me. It took me 2 months to get back on my feet. New job, new place. I changed my number, changed my name. I didn't tell anyone where I went. Not a soul. And for 5 years, she never looked. Not once. Or so I thought. Then, one rainy night in mid-October, when I'd almost convinced myself I imagined her entirely, my phone lit up. 99 missed calls. All from the same number. All in under 3 hours. No voicemails. Just that number. Over and over. I stared at the screen, heart pounding like a drumline in my chest. For a second, I thought it was a mistake. But then a text came through. "It's Mandy. Please. Call me. I need to explain." Explain? After half a decade of silence? After leaving me in the middle of nowhere like garbage? I put the phone down. Got up. Poured a drink. My hands were shaking. Because if she found me, it meant she looked. And if she looked, that meant something was wrong. Or worse, she needed something. And just like that, I was dragged back to that train station. To the ache in my ribs from sleeping on a bench. To the look on the clerk's face when I begged him to let me use the landline. To the hollow in my chest when no one picked up. So many people ask what betrayal feels like. Let me tell you, it isn't sharp. It doesn't stab. It seeps. Like poison in your bloodstream, like black ink in water. Slow and final. Mandy was the kind of woman who wore her cruelty like perfume. Subtle, sweet, intoxicating, until you realize it's masking rot. She could lie without blinking, flirt with a stranger while holding your hand, and make you feel guilty for noticing. And now she wanted to talk. I didn't know what I'd say. Or if I'd even pick up. But something told me this wasn't just about guilt. Mandy never felt guilt. This was something else. And whatever it was, I had a feeling it was going to burn everything down that I didn't sleep that night. The phone buzzed again at 3:17 a.m. A voicemail this time. Just breathing. Slow, calculated, like she wanted me to know it was her but didn't have the guts to speak. Classic Mandy. By sunrise, I gave in. Not out of curiosity, out of necessity. I needed to know why she was clawing her way back into my life after 5 years of radio silence. I played the voicemail on speaker, staring out the kitchen window like the answers were somewhere between the cracked sidewalk and the rusting mailbox. Hey, I don't know where to start. I'm sorry, okay? I know it's been a long time. Too long. But something happened. I really need to talk to you. Please. No details. No explanation. Just desperation dressed in sugar. I didn't reply. But that voice dug into me. I couldn't shake it. So I did what any rational man wouldn't. I pulled out the old box I swore I'd never open again. The one with our wedding photo, a few faded receipts, and the USB stick I found in the pocket of her leather jacket the night before she ditched me. I'd never looked at it. I was afraid of what I might find. Or worse, afraid it might confirm everything I suspected. But now? I needed answers. Not closure, just the truth, even if it came wrapped in barbed wire. The USB was old, a little rusted on the edges. I plugged it into my laptop, heart pounding, fingers slick with sweat. It was all there. Dozens of photos. Videos. Screenshots. Mandy, in lingerie I never saw her wear, sprawled across hotel beds with him. Some meathead with sleeve tattoos, a crooked smile, and a look that said he knew exactly who he was stealing from. The timestamps were worse than the images. Because they were from before the reconnecting trip. Months before. While I was planning anniversary dinners and saving up for a new house, she was playing house in motel rooms with some dollar store biker. I watched one video, just one, and it was enough to shatter something inside me that I didn't even know was still alive. Mandy laughing into the camera, brushing her hair back, telling him how boring I'd become. He's like a golden retriever, she snorted. Just sits there waiting for a treat. That's what I was to her. A damn dog. Loyal. Predictable. Pathetic. And it clicked then. The prank, the laughter, the cold way she left me at that train station. It wasn't spontaneous. It was her way of getting rid of me. No drama. No messy divorce. Just a cruel little game to vanish me from her life so she could move on guilt-free. But here she was now. 5 years later. With 99 missed calls and a voicemail that smelled of fear. Why? What went wrong in her perfect little fantasy life that made her crawl back to the man she once called furniture? Whatever it was, I didn't owe her a damn thing. Still, part of me wanted to know. Not for her, for me. Because if you spend 5 years trying to rebuild yourself from ashes, it helps to know what burned you down in the first place. So I texted her one line. You have one chance. Meet me at the pier. Tomorrow. 8 p.m. Come alone. And just like that, I opened the door she thought she'd slammed shut forever. The pier was half rotten and smelled like old fish and lost time. I picked it for a reason. It was the last place we'd gone before the marriage started circling the drain. Back when she still pretended to care. I got there early, leaned against the rail, and watched the waves slap wood. My mind was still buzzing with those images from the USB, Mandy giggling, tangled in hotel sheets, mocking me like I wasn't a human being but a joke she was tired of telling. The wind was sharp. I didn't mind. At exactly 8:07 p.m., she showed up. Same confident walk. Same oversized sunglasses, though the sun was long gone. She dressed like she still thought she could manipulate the world with her hips, tight jeans, red leather jacket, heels that clacked like gunshots on the pier. For a second, I almost didn't recognize her. But then she spoke. "Hey, Daniel." Her voice was soft, rehearsed. Like she was trying to sound gentle. But it rang hollow. Like a bell in an empty church. I didn't move. "You've got 5 minutes. Talk." Mandy blinked, probably not expecting that. She stepped closer, but I raised my hand. "Stay there. Just talk." She sighed, dramatic as ever. "Okay. Look. I know I was awful. I made a mistake. A lot of mistakes. But things got out of control after you left. After you left me at a train station." She winced, then rolled her eyes. "It was a joke, Daniel. A stupid prank. I thought you'd laugh it off. You planned it. You stole my wallet, Mandy." She looked away, but not in shame. No, she looked annoyed. Like I was wasting her time with facts. Then came the waterworks. Fake tears. Sniffles. Voice cracking in all the wrong places. "I didn't know you wouldn't come back. I thought you'd be mad for a day or two, then." "Then what?" I snapped. "Come crawling back to beg for your forgiveness? While you kept rolling around with your side guy in cheap motels?" Her jaw dropped. That hit the nerve. I stepped closer, pulled out the USB, and held it in front of her like a cross to a demon. "Recognize this? You left it in your jacket. You were sloppy. Always were." Her mask slipped, just for a second. Eyes went cold. Voice dropped. "So that's what this is about. You're still bitter." "Bitter?" I laughed, hollow and sharp. "No. I was bitter 5 years ago. I'm just here to make sure you know I know. You don't get to rewrite what you did." She took a deep breath, then smirked, that cruel, spoiled brat smirk she used when she knew she couldn't win and decided to burn the board. "You always were such a drama queen. God, no wonder I cheated. You were boring. Safe. Predictable. You were too easy, Daniel. That was it. No more pretending. No more tears. Just venom. You really came here to insult me?" "No," she said. "I came because I need help." That stopped me. Not because I wanted to help her. But because it confirmed what I suspected from the start. "Let me guess," I said. "Your guy ditched you. Took your money. Now you're broke, scared, and suddenly I'm useful again." Silence. Bingo. Mandy looked away, clenching her jaw like a toddler denied candy. "You don't understand what he did to me," she hissed. "He. I don't care." She looked back, shocked. Maybe for the first time in her life, someone cut her off without giving her what she wanted. "You're on your own now," I said. "Just like you wanted it. So, figure it out yourself." Her lips trembled, but I didn't wait to hear another word. I turned and walked away. And for the first time in 5 years, I wasn't walking from something. I was walking towards something new that I didn't sleep after the pier. Not because I regretted anything, I didn't. Telling Mandy off, walking away, it felt like digging my fingers into a wound and finally pulling the bullet out. But it stirred up things I hadn't touched in years. Pain I thought I buried, memories I tried to forget. It's one thing to leave a toxic woman behind. It's another to face her again and realize she hasn't changed at all. And yet, something about her desperation that night stuck with me. She wasn't scared because I knew. She was scared because someone else did. The next morning, I got the answer. A knock on my apartment door, firm, fast, aggressive. I opened it, expecting Mandy. But it wasn't her. It was him. The guy from the videos. The tattooed clown she traded our life for. He looked older, rougher, like karma had been gnawing at him for a while. But his eyes were still the same. Arrogant. Cold. "You Daniel?" he asked, already halfway into my space. "Who's asking?" He didn't answer. Just shoved a hand against my chest and pushed me back into my own hallway. I hit the wall hard, caught between shock and fury. But he didn't follow up with a punch, just a low, snarling warning. "Stay away from Mandy." I laughed. Couldn't help it. "That ship sailed a long time ago, buddy. You can have her. She's mine," he growled. "Always was. You were just a filler until she found real excitement." I gritted my teeth. "Funny. That's not what she said last night." His nostrils flared. There it was, the crack in his ego. A man like that doesn't like being reminded his trophy girl came crawling back to the guy she ditched. "She came to you?" he spat. 99 times, I smirked. "Missed calls, I mean. You really messed her up." He slammed his fist into the wall beside my head, not hitting me. Just close enough to rattle the frame. "She belongs to me. If I find out you're talking to her again, I'll break every bone in your goddamn body." I stared him dead in the eye. "You already did, 5 years ago. Just took me that long to notice." He didn't respond. Just shoved me again and left like he was proud of himself, like he'd won something. But I wasn't scared. No, I was angry. Not for myself. For how easy it was for both of them to treat people like trash. Like pawns. Mandy used me, then dumped me. And now, the guy she ran to wanted to play alpha wolf in my hallway? Nah. Not happening. So I made a choice. I called Mandy. She picked up instantly. "Daniel, Save it." He showed up. At my door. Silence. He threatened me, Mandy. She sighed like she was the one exhausted. "Look, he's just upset. He thinks I told you things I wasn't supposed to. Why's he scared of what I know?" Another pause. Then, finally, her voice dropped to a whisper. "Because he's dangerous. And I have something on him. Something that could ruin him. And now he thinks you have it too." It clicked. The USB. Those weren't just flings. They were blackmail material. Evidence. Insurance. And I was holding the only copy she probably didn't even remember she left behind. And now, I was in the middle of something way deeper than a broken marriage. "You brought this to my doorstep, Mandy," I said. "And I'm not going down because of your mess." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Then maybe you shouldn't have come back." Click. She hung up. I didn't leave my apartment for 2 days. Not out of fear, not exactly. It was more like a slow, calculated freeze. I wasn't sure who was watching, who might be waiting outside, or what kind of lunacy Mandy and her feral lapdog had cooked up. And the worst part? I wasn't even surprised anymore. Once upon a time, I thought Mandy was just selfish. Now I was realizing she was dangerous. The USB sat on my kitchen table like a loaded weapon. I hadn't touched it since that night at the pier. Didn't need to, everything I needed to see, I'd already seen. But now I was wondering what else might be on there. What she was hiding from that guy. What he'd do if he thought I was holding it over him. I poured myself a drink. My hand shook as I lifted it. I wasn't scared of him. Not really. But I was scared of getting dragged back into her world. That sick, manipulative web where lies are currency and people are pawns. And somehow, even after 5 years, I was right back in the center of it. My phone buzzed again. A number I didn't recognize. I let it ring. A few seconds later, a text. You've got 24 hours to return what doesn't belong to you. No name. No threats. Just that. I laughed bitterly. These people thought they were in a movie. Like I was going to cave because of a cryptic message from some thug with fragile pride. I took a screenshot, sent it to an old buddy of mine, Brad, ex-cop turned PI, and asked him to trace the number. His reply came 20 minutes later. Belongs to a burner. But I've got eyes. You need backup? I didn't answer right away. I was tired. Bone-deep tired. But something in me, the last shard of pride I had left, refused to be chased off by these idiots. I wasn't running this time. Instead, I did what Mandy never expected. I went public. I uploaded everything from the USB to a secure folder, dropped the link to an anonymous email, and sent it to Brad with one line. If anything happens to me, release this to the press. No hesitation. Because if Mandy's dirtbag boy toy was dumb enough to think threats would silence me, he had another thing coming. And if Mandy thought she could slink away clean again, she was about to get a rude wake-up call. Later that night, I got another visit. This time, it wasn't the tattooed clown. It was Jessica, one of Mandy's friends. One of the ones who'd laughed in the car as they drove away from the train station 5 years ago. She knocked like she didn't want anyone to hear. When I opened the door, she looked pale. Twitchy. Scared. Can I come in? She whispered. I stared at her for a long second. Then stepped aside. She slipped inside, arms folded like she was hugging herself. They're watching you, she said immediately. He's got guys checking your building. Mandy's losing control. She never meant for it to go this far. I laughed. She left me in the middle of nowhere and told me to figure it out. I think she meant for everything to go this far. Jessica looked down. It was supposed to be a joke. Save it. She nodded. Look. I'm telling you this because you need to get ahead of it. Mandy's planning something. I don't know what, but she's desperate. I narrowed my eyes. Why are you warning me? She didn't answer at first. Then, almost too soft to hear. Because I know what she's capable of. And you don't deserve to die for someone else's secrets. Jessica sat on the edge of my couch like she expected it to bite her. Her leg bounced, hands wrapped tight around a chipped coffee mug she hadn't even sipped from. Her nerves were screaming through every twitch and breath. I watched her for a while, then said flatly, "Start talking." She swallowed hard. Mandy's not just scared of what you know. She's scared of what he'll do when he finds out she doesn't have control anymore. I'm not exactly interested in saving Mandy, I said. I'm not asking you to save her. Jessica finally looked up, eyes full of something real. I'm telling you she's going to do something desperate to save herself. And if you're in the way, you're collateral. I stood, pacing. Why are you here, Jess? You were part of it. You were in that Jeep, laughing your ass off while I stood like a moron in the middle of a train station. She flinched at that. Good. I know, she whispered. It was messed up. We all thought it was just Mandy being Mandy. You know, cruel for the fun of it. But we didn't know what was going on behind the curtain. What do you mean? She's been in deep with this guy, Trey, for years now. He's not just her side piece. He's involved in stuff. Scummy business. She helped him. Ran money. Hid things. There's more on that USB than just hotel videos. You have no idea how serious this is. I froze. Money laundering? Jessica nodded. And worse. And she used me to make it all look normal. The stable husband. The clean name. Exactly. Your name's been used in things. Quietly. Hidden in documents. My blood ran cold. You're saying she framed me? Jessica nodded again. You were the fall guy, Daniel. If things ever went bad, she'd say you forged everything, took the money, ran. I sat down slowly. And now that I'm back, and not buried somewhere in Arizona, she's losing control of the story. Jessica leaned in. And Trey doesn't like loose ends. That got under my skin. Because suddenly, I wasn't just the guy who got screwed over in a marriage. I was a man who'd nearly been erased so someone else could walk free with my name smeared on the exit door. I pulled out the USB and stared at it. There had to be more. Evidence of transactions, names, maybe locations. It wasn't just a piece of emotional damage now, it was leverage. Possibly the only thing keeping me alive. Jessica glanced at the device. If you still have that, you need to move. Now. Already got a backup, I muttered. If I go missing, it goes viral. She exhaled. Good. Because if you stay here, they'll find you. I looked at her for a long time. You're not doing this out of guilt, are you? No, she said quietly. I'm doing it because I'm next. Mandy turned on me a week ago. Blamed me for everything when Trey started asking questions. I've been looking over my shoulder ever since. Of course. Mandy never went down alone. She dragged people down with her, tied them to the weight and smiled as she threw it overboard. I stood, grabbed my bag, stuffed the USB, the laptop, the essentials. Jessica looked up. Where will you go? I didn't answer immediately. Then I smiled, the kind of smile that comes after years of being someone's doormat. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere I can hit first, before they realize I'm not running anymore. Because now? Now I wasn't a victim. Now I was the storm Mandy never saw coming that I left before sunrise. Jessica crashed on the couch with a loaded taser in her purse and a kitchen knife under the pillow, her idea. I told her not to trust Mandy ever again. She didn't argue. We both knew trust around Mandy was like standing in gasoline during a lightning storm. I slipped out with nothing but a backpack, my laptop, burner phone, and the original USB tucked inside a hollowed-out book. The backup copy? Already scheduled for release through a timed cloud drop if I missed check-ins every 24 hours. I wasn't playing defense anymore. I was playing chess. And every move counted. I headed west. Not too far. Just enough to disappear into the concrete noise of another city, blend in, buy time, and build my counterstrike. Mandy wanted me gone. She should have made sure I was dead. Because now I was awake, and I wasn't just aiming to clear my name. I wanted her world to collapse. By the time I hit the outskirts of Phoenix, Brad had done his magic. My PI friend sent me a dossier thicker than a divorce settlement. Mandy's money trail. Wire transfers. Fake accounts. Offshore garbage with my name, my ID, even my old signature scanned into documents I'd never seen before. Daniel, Brad texted, they're setting you up for federal charges. This is RICO-level stuff. I sat in the back of a dusty bus station with my laptop open, eyes burning from no sleep, throat dry as chalk. I wasn't just a pawn anymore. I was the patsy. And Mandy? That bitch set it all up with a smile. Every sweet kiss, every stupid, "you're the only one who gets me," every time she made me feel like I was lucky to have her, all of it was camouflage. She needed a clean man to hide her filth behind. And I? I was perfect. Until I wasn't useful anymore. And now that Trey was sniffing out the lies and realizing Mandy had her own agenda, she was scrambling. That's what the 99 missed calls were really about. Not love. Not guilt. Not regret. She needed a shield. And she wanted me to step back into the fire without knowing it. Too bad. I wasn't the same man she left at that station. I set up a burner email account and created a package, evidence, timelines, cross-checks with bank statements and videos. I wrote a short message. My name is Daniel Wyatt. I am not the criminal in these documents. I was set up. Here's what I have. The rest is coming. I sent it to a trusted journalist Brad knew. Someone with a reputation for taking down monsters in expensive suits. Then I waited. Brad called 2 hours later. They're sniffing the story. Fast. You stirred the pot. If they push it live, this thing goes nuclear. Good. Be ready. Trey's guys are gonna panic. You just poked a bear with a stick soaked in gasoline. Let them panic. That night, I checked into a shady little motel on the edge of the desert, room paid in cash, curtains drawn. I watched the sun burn itself out across the mountains while my laptop blinked with surveillance pings, a little code Brad set up to watch for activity around Mandy's accounts. By 11:43 p.m., one of them went dark. Gone. Deleted. And that's when I knew, they knew. Trey. Mandy. Both of them. They weren't going to wait anymore. They were going to strike. But I wasn't hiding. I was hunting. That it happened faster than I expected. The news broke 2 days after I dropped the evidence. Local businesswoman and alleged criminal under investigation for fraud, money laundering. Her face was right there, Mandy, mid-laugh in some old photo she probably thought made her look powerful. The caption underneath it might as well have been a dagger. Federal sources confirm multiple accounts tied to Daniel Wyatt were used as fronts without consent. Finally, someone said it out loud. It didn't matter how carefully she lied or how many times Trey threatened me, truth has a way of crawling through the cracks like smoke under a door. I was in a diner in Tucson when I saw the article. I read it 3 times. Not because I couldn't believe it, but because I could. It all made sense now. Every manipulative smile, every sudden shift in her mood, every guilt trip, every whispered lie that sounded like a compliment. It had always been a performance. I just never realized I wasn't even in the audience. I was the set piece. Brad called an hour later. They're both on the run, he said. Feds raided Trey's storage unit. Found ledgers. Hard drives. Stuff that matches your USB perfectly. Your name's been cleared. Cleared. Not vindicated. Not healed. Just, cleared. Like I was a mess someone finally decided to mop up. I don't think Mandy's going to run, I said after a long silence. Why not? Because she thinks she can still twist her way out of this. And I was right. That night, Mandy called me again, this time from a blocked number. My phone vibrated once. Then again. I let it go to voicemail. Her message was short. You think this is over, Daniel? You think the truth matters? The world doesn't care about truth. It cares about control. And I had you once. You think I can't do it again? I played the message twice. Not because I needed to hear it. But because I wanted to memorize the sound of her losing. See, Mandy was never afraid of the law. She was afraid of irrelevance. Obscurity. The spotlight shifting away from her. I smiled. Not out of joy. Out of understanding. Because now I had control. And she had nothing. The next morning, I got another call, this time from Jessica. They caught Trey. Border Patrol. He was trying to get into Mexico with fake IDs. And Mandy? She hesitated. Still loose. But she's not well. You broke something in her, Daniel. And I don't think she knows how to fix it. Good. Let her rot in the ashes she built with that fake smile and cruel little heart. Let her feel hunted for once, not adored, not worshipped, hunted. I spent one more night in that motel. One last moment in the middle of nowhere, full circle from the place she left me all those years ago. I looked in the mirror before I packed up. Same eyes. Different man. I wasn't the quiet husband anymore. I wasn't the backup plan. I wasn't the fool standing at a train station holding hope like a ticket in his hand. I was a man who survived her. And maybe that's the worst revenge of all, still breathing. Still standing. Still unbroken. As I zipped my bag, I found a scrap of paper I didn't remember putting there. Jessica must have slipped it in. It said, "She broke a good man. But she built a dangerous one." Damn right, Epilogue. 5 years ago, I was abandoned at a train station by the woman I loved. She said, "Figure it out yourself." Well, I did. And I hope she hears those words every night until they finally break her the way she tried to break me.